You recording?
I've been recording the whole time,
Great,
except that time that I was supposed to be recording.
Welcome to another adventure. This time we are traveling to Copenhagen. Jason's good friends flew in from Boston to spend some time with us and to go on a little adventure. This trip was great, and I'm thankful for friends who come and share on our European adventure with us. We visited for 7 days in July, and our weather was cool and rainy even though it was the middle of summer. It's kind of easy to forget that it's summer, given the weather, so no matter the time of year, be prepared for some rainy weather. We didn't let this stop us, though. We loved our visit, and I think you will too. Public transit in Copenhagen is amazing. The underground comes every 2 to 3 minutes, meaning you never have to wait long at a stop. It's also very clean, and since we bought the unlimited pass, we could just hop on and off as often as we wanted, even for a really short trip. These metro trains are actually driverless, so you can sit at the very front and watch the ride. Such a cool experience and such a wonderful thing to have in a city. There are several food halls throughout the city. They have a large variety of foods, both for eating now and goodies to take home and enjoy later. We ended up eating at these food halls often as it allowed everyone to get what they wanted and it catered well to food restrictions. They're also just fun to look around, see what local products are available, and maybe try something new. We were on the lookout for some smørbrød. We got a smørbrød from the Tivoli Food Garden because it was recommended as the Danish meatball one. So these are open-faced sandwiches on very hearty bread.
Okay, run that again, because I was not filming.
How is it?
It's good. It's cold, which is a little weird. To me, meatballs shouldn't be cold, but the flavors are great. As well as the famous hot dogs paired with chocolate milk. Chocolate milk and hot dog.
Oh, wait, Simon was most excited.
This is a must-have moment.
This is really good. It's got remoulade, ketchup, onion, fried onion, and pickle.
One of my favorite things we ate, which is going to sound really simple, was sourdough and butter and cheese for breakfast. It is so good. Each ingredient was just the highest quality, and I just thought about how I could get another one my whole trip. It was super simple, but just so tasty because everything was of the highest quality. You have to get one, and you have to get a good one. Tivoli Gardens are iconic. This amusement park has been around since 1843. I think my favorite thing about this park is that it's truly a choose-your-own adventure. They have amusement rides. They have all sorts of foods that you would find at a fair. There's lots of shopping. You can go through the beautiful manicured park, which also comes with lawn games. Has a bit of everything for everyone. We stayed until the late night show, which closes out the park, and we ended up at the bridge a bit early, and it worked out really well because this was popular. This event got crowded. It was such a beautiful way to end the day. As the name suggests, this tower is round, and so is the walkway up it. It's located at the city center, making it easy to get to. It doesn't take long to visit. We took our time, and we were there for maybe an hour. But it was still one of my favorite activities because there's something so unique about going all the way up with almost no stairs. This tower was built by King Christian IV, whom you will hear a lot about in this video. The design can accommodate a horse walking up so that your horse can go to the top of the tower, which is obviously very crucial.
Ooh, it gets snug. Ooh, my feet are too big.
At the top, you're rewarded with views across the whole city. The tour was 1 hour and passed so many of the top talked about attractions. We left from the old port of Nijhaven. This area is likely what you will picture when you think of Copenhagen. It has the brightly colored homes lining the waterway. It's so iconic. And the guide was knowledgeable about the city with fun facts and history. As I mentioned, we had some rather unfriendly summer weather. This also came with high water levels. What that meant for our boat tour is that it was a little extra unique, with the boat barely fitting under the low bridges.
No worries, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think you're So this first floor.
Sit down in the back, otherwise you won't fit.
All right, everyone, this is very, very unusual. This is the first time I've ever experienced this as well. So you're just getting the unique.
We then continued on to see the Opera House, the edge of the Christiana neighborhood, the backside of the Little Mermaid, the spiral tower of the Church of Our Savior, the famous trash site turned ski hill, the royal residences, and so much more. This is just a good way to sneak in a bit of everything in a visit, especially if you come here for a short period of time. Just about every city offers some sort of city ticket. Copenhagen has so many castles that they offer a castle ticket. This allowed us to see castles across the times and across uses. The ticket we chose covers Amalienborg and Roseburg Palace. There's also an option to see the Christiansborg Palace, but we felt we'd been palaced out. Amalienborg Palace is a collection of buildings that includes the current residence of the Danish royal family. So we visited one of those buildings that's not in use. Since we were already there, we paired our timing with the changing of the guards. I have to say, it was very crowded and rather uneventful.
They're still staring at each other. I'm glad I didn't wait to see if they finished staring at each other.
Amalienborg Palace is the current residence of the Queen and the Princess. It consists of 4 similar looking buildings. There's a few different ways to see which building you're in. The first that I've been using is this little statue here, depending on which way he's facing. The other is the gate, which way you enter, and then the number of chimneys. So the one that the Queen lives in has 5 chimneys. The one that the Princess lives in has 4 chimneys. Those are the 2 closest to the water. The one that we are currently in is the other one with 4 chimneys, which is right here. So we're touring 2 floors on this half of this building. So again, you can see the Queen's residence has the 5 chimneys, and you can see that the statue is facing us. It was not supposed to rain today. It's very clearly wet. The self-guided tour gives you access to 2 floors. I find the second floor to be much more fun because it's grand ballrooms, whereas the first floor is a lot of genealogy and history about the family members. I like looking at the architecture.
Also included in our ticket, Rosenborg Palace. This was a fascinating castle built by Christian IV.
We are waiting for our time entrance at Rosenborg Palace. We got this ticket in combination with our palace yesterday, and the weather is not working with us, so that's why I'm hiding in this alcove.
He came up time and time again in our visit. He had such an impact on both the country and the city. He was a very involved king who has truly left his mark.
So in the early 1600s, this castle was built as a getaway castle, something like a summer residence, but not only used in the summer. Christian had a fun personality. He had a colorful personality, is what the brochure says.
This tour gave history of the family and the artifacts. My favorite part was the wine cellar and the crown jewels found in the basement.
At least it has stopped raining for today. I think the blue skies are sticking around.
The tube was a really fun stop for us. I think that I enjoyed it also because it was unexpected. We had a bit of time after our tourist activities had ended for the day, but we weren't ready for dinner.
You sink right in. It's not like it's too cold.
So we decided to visit the tube and had so much fun playing with all of the different displays. We dove into a ball pit, we played with halls of mirrors, and acted like the Little Mermaid, we played with color, and climbed through a geometric snake. This was so much fun and really brought out our young, playful side, but also made for fun pictures and videos. I highly recommend doing this activity with a group of friends.
Is a lot of fun.
These 2 things are a little bit outside of city center and aren't an activity big enough to me to merit their own event, but are a great way to make use of a day together. On a day when we finally didn't have rain, we were able to walk around the Citadel, which still houses some of the Danish military. There isn't a tour to be had here that I'm aware of, but you can visit the windmill in the church, the Citadel Square, and walk around. The Little Mermaid is a short walk from here, which makes them a good pairing.
We are here to see The Little Mermaid, and so is everyone else.
Visiting The Little Mermaid is a very quick activity. While it is an iconic thing from Hans Christian Andersen, it is a very fast visit. She is small and crowded. All we did there was say hello and take a picture. The spiral tower at the Church of Our Savior was one of those things that Priscilla had heard about before getting here, and so it was on our list from day one. However, they do close the tower in bad weather, and so because we had a lot of wind and rain, we had to pick the right day to get up there. But we managed to find the time.
The first half wasn't bad.
You climb up 400 steps to get to the top of the tower that was made in 1752. This was a cool activity, but not great for those of you who have a fear of heights.
The wood is so smooth from just thousands and thousands of hands using it.
At the end, it's a little funny because it just spirals itself out. And so there's not enough space for one person, let alone a crowd of tourists trying to all get to the same spot. So it is very awkward at the end. Nevertheless, very cool activity, and the only place that it's overcrowded is right at the end. You do need to buy time tickets for this because it has limited space. They allow limited numbers of people in.
For the top. You need to go outside unprotected, so if you have a fear of heights, this might not be for you. It just gets smaller and smaller until it ends.
These are getting progressively slipperier.
We're now in Norborough, which is a very international neighborhood, and we had an architect come along and ask everybody what they wanted from the neighborhood, and so this neighborhood is filled with a bunch of different things, like maybe a Moroccan fountain and I guess swings, and we're just gonna keep walking around and see what else we see.
Parks usually don't make it into my video because I feel like they're not an activity. They might be beautiful, you might go for a walk in them, but a park itself is not an activity. However, Folkets Park in Nürburgring was different. They took this space and they redesigned it, taking in the thoughts of people in this neighborhood. They also wanted to make sure that it was inclusive of all sorts of cultures. So they asked people what is important in a park in your neighborhood. What's going to make this place somewhere that you want to spend time and you are happy living near this space? And so we spent so much time walking through this park and looking at all of the different things. The sort of things that were recommended by people of this neighborhood were trash cans and lights, but also fountains, things to play on, entertainment spaces, spaces for gathering. It's truly the heart of the neighborhood, and it was the most unique park I had ever been to. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Bastard Cafe. It had the largest selection of board games I think I've ever seen. They had every game our group before had ever heard of. They had people there to give recommendations and instructions if needed. They had food and drink, and of course tons and tons of tables that worked well for settling in and playing a game, or maybe 5. We actually ended up coming here twice because of the weather. The first time we realized how great this place was and used it on a rainy day for almost the whole day. You don't need to be a complete board game geek to go here. We saw people playing Guess Who, Monopoly, and Ticket to Ride. It was an inclusive space for everybody to play games.
We've decided to get out of the city of Copenhagen for the day, so we took the street car up to Hilborg, where we're going to see this castle. And then we're going to take a train over to the coast to see another castle. And this is our first castle. Beautiful weather today, which is why we picked to go out today. The train we took to get here takes 1 hour and comes every 10 minutes, so super easy to get here from the city.
You can tell Christian IV started this castle because he put his name on it.
There are truly so many easy day trips that you can take from Copenhagen. You could do an entire week of just day trips from here. We decided to do one day trip and we visited Frederiksberg's castle, and then we took a train up to the town of Helsingør, which is a port town on the north of the country, where we enjoyed the cute little town, we got some ice cream, and just did some exploring.
Right? That's huge. Bigger than your head.
We had beautiful train rides through the Denmark countryside and only started to scratch the surface of what there is to explore in this area. Our week-long visit here truly went by so fast, and before we knew it, it was time to head home.